We've been spending a lot of time this morning talking about these Sandy Hook Elementary School shootings. And if you're a mom or dad, you may be struggling to talk to your kids about this tragedy. I mean, listen, for me, it's like the fear of talking to your kids about, sex, right? But now, how are you going to talk to your kids about this kind of a trauma? Robyn Firtel, who has become sort of the therapist to the Scott and BR plus Amber show, she's really a trauma specialist. And Robyn, good morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Should we be, I'll use myself as an example, 4 kids, 12, 10, 9, and 6. Should I be talking to all 4 of my kids about this tragedy?
I would say absolutely not all at once, because kids at different ages have different defense mechanisms and they have different ways of understanding. If you think about a child's brain, their frontal cortex isn't even developed till they're 5. So anything they hear about, anything you talk to them about is going into their unconscious mind. So it really depends on the age and the resilience of the child as to how you should talk about this shooting.
Do little kids, my 6-year-old as an example, does she need to hear about this?
I would say not. She might hear about it at school, and you can just say that there's something that happened that was really not good, someone did something, and if you have any questions, if you hear anything at school, come to me. But what is the point in a 6-year-old knowing this and being exposed to it on television? There's no point.
What about if you're a parent who's having a hard time and you don't say something, and then the kids go to school and that's where they, I guess the conflict would be, should I be the person who introduces this information to them, or should it be in school?
I would say that you should be in a general way depending on the child's age. So for your 6-year-old, you can say in a general way, something happened on Friday. There was a boy that did something really bad. He was very sick, and he did some things that hurt people. And if you have any questions that you hear about at school, to come and talk to me about it. So I would say in a general way, you kind of set the stage.
If you're a teacher, though, you didn't sign up for this.
Yes.
This isn't part of the curriculum. So if you're a teacher this morning and you're getting ready to go into your class and you go, do I talk about that? Do I walk into class and start off by saying, hey, today we're not going to be talking about American history. Today we need to talk about something really important. Do you do that? We're
in uncharted territory right now, and it really is depending on the classroom and, again, the ages of the kids. Some parents, by just the questioning, so say the teacher says, let's open up the class for questionings about the shooting, and somebody says something horrific about kids being killed and other kids don't know, then it's instilling fear in the kids that didn't know. And sometimes less exposure is better. We have to be really careful about how much we're telling our kids.
You talk about a kid's brain being developed,
yes,
and what goes into it, and then how they have it tucked way back in. For me, and I'm no expert, but I just have this strong opinion on this thing, violent video games, violent media, exposure to these sorts of things desensitizes the value of life. It's tucked back in the brain. Next thing you know, you're 20 years old, you're disturbed, you have easy access to guns, you play violent video games, and this sort of thing happens. And I realize it's like a 1 in a billion chance, but is there anything, in your opinion, to that?
Absolutely. We have a kid in the neighborhood that watches 4 hours of violent video games a day.
How do you know
ask them, because I've talked to the mom, I've seen him, I've seen the way he plays and interacts with other kids. You talk to that mom, she'd be for gun control, but is she going to turn off the video games in her own kid's house? I don't know. But those are all seeds that are going into the unconscious mind from 0 through 18. We have to be more protective of our kids.
I just think that's kind of one of the big stories we're not talking about. Everybody wants to right away jump to gun control, and I realize it's a big issue, and I right away jump to violence in media. But where's the parenting?
Exactly. Are we paying attention to our kids? Are we so busy with our own lives that we don't have time to sit down and ask questions and listen to where our kids are mentally? And take the time to really, really be there for our kids.
Well, how about and just really quick, but this young man was homeschooled, and I always think to myself, well, where's the interaction? Where's the social skills?
That's right. I don't know how much compassion he was taught. We also have a lack of compassion, a lack of consciousness. Kids aren't learning how to have compassion for other kids, and if he's homeschooled, he's isolated from other children.
It's just an incredibly emotional story.
Incredibly.
And so we appreciate your time
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and be careful, moms and dads. I know I have to be when you're talking to your kids about this stuff.